What is up, MMA community? I just want to let you guys know that this podcast may have some graphic language that may not be suitable for all audiences. The listener discretion is advised. Welcome to the 14th ever episode of the BP and Mean Gene MMA show. As always, I'm BP, and joining me is Mean Gene, the betting machine. I'm going to keep giving you that nickname until you lose again. So,
yeah, hopefully that name sticks for forever.
Yeah,
hopefully.
you're on one. What was it? Four? Is it 4 cards in a row or 3 cards in a row?
I think it's 3 cards in a row.
Yeah,
man, it's crazy. This normally doesn't happen. Obviously, this isn't the normal, way that betting goes. You're gonna have your up and down weeks, and man, I've just had a bunch of up weeks, so I'm loving it right now. I'll tell you that. So hopefully the trend continues. I'll keep the name, the moniker that you gave me, and we'll see. So.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, let's just jump right into how we did last week. Sadly.
Yeah, and you're in.
On my end, I'm hanging on by a thread. Mean Gene, the income gap in the bets is really increasing here. So we're gonna have to socialize this podcast a little bit. But my overall is 22-25, and I was 5-7 on the card for picks. For bets, I was down 1.75 units on the card, and total I'm down 4.65. But you know what's keeping me up, Mean Gene, is that when you lost 5 units on the first card and you've made a great comeback. So I'm thinking, all right, I haven't gotten that low yet. I haven't rock bottom. So I can still come back. But let's go into Mean Gene's overall. Mean Gene's picks, 8-4 on the card, picking all those damn favorites. And he was 31-16 right now, looking phenomenal. And most importantly is put our money where our mouths are. So bets overall, you were up 1.36 units on the card, and you're up 1.46 units total. So pretty much 1.5 units you're up.
Cool.
So, there you go.
And yeah, like I said last time, that first card I overdid it. Trying to get cute with a bunch of different bets. Our first betting, preview podcast, and I'm like, let me throw out some weird bets with like inside the distance and things of that nature, things I normally don't do. And yeah, man, I just got back to what I normally do. Stick to most of the straight plays. If I do a parlay, just 2-fighter parlays, that type of thing. So we'll see if it continues. I'm in a nice little groove right now, and yeah, this is what I expect out of myself, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't expect to be winning every single card the way I am, but I'll tell you what, I mean, I do expect to, if I'm going to lose, only lose a little bit, whatever. So anyways, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Maximize the profits, minimize the losses.
Yep.
All right, so we'll just go right into the picks, and I'm just going to tell you guys, there's 15 fights on this card. This is a crazy big card, biggest card we've seen in a long time.
Since 94, UFC 2.
There you go, since UFC 2, 1994. So, we're going to go quick. We're not going to harp on, we'll start breaking down fights when it comes to the main event a little bit. But we will. We'll break down the fights when it comes to the main event. But before then, honestly, we're just going to give our picks. Maybe we'll throw something in there like why we're making that pick. But mainly, we're just going to throw our picks in. So with that being said, Mean Gene, we got Nathaniel Wood at -410 versus John Castaneda at +310. Who do you got in this fight?
I got Nathaniel Wood. uh, uber prospect for the UFC who lost, his last fight. Um, he's hittable. That's the one thing that worries me, especially with the lines. I do think the lines are a little bit too big on this one.
Mhm.
Uh, put him down in the 300s or the low 300. What is he again? What was the
Minus 410.
Yeah, 410. So he should be in the low 300s in my personal opinion. Castaneda's 17-4. So 17-4. This is his first fight in UFC, but obviously 17-4, 21 fights. Outside the UFC, I mean, he's seasoned. He's a seasoned newcomer. But I got Nathaniel Wood. I think he's going to. I think he's going to handle this kid, and this kid's in for a rude awakening. But the lines are. That's a pretty big line in my personal opinion. I think it should be more low 300s. So, but whatever. Nathaniel Wood.
Yeah, I agree. I got Nathaniel Wood. There's a reason he's minus 410. I'm not going to be an idiot like I've been, so sticking with Nathaniel Wood. Moving on, we're going with Ramazan Emiev, I think is how you pronounce it, versus Niklas Stolze at plus 320. So Emiev is at minus 385. Who do you have in this fight? Mean Gene?
Yeah, I got Ramazan. Anytime I see those V's at the, you know me, I always say the OVs, the EVs. I'm going with them all day with those fighters, man. Coming from Russia, Dagestan, that part of the world.
Yeah,
I'm going. They're tough. Grappler. They're not all grapplers, but their base is grappling. And I love fighters that have grappling as their base, wrestling as their base. I think that's the most important aspect of the sport or discipline. The most important discipline to have,
I agree.
first and foremost, is to have that. So, Nicholas Stolze, 12-3, I believe, is a newcomer coming in again. There's a lot of newcomers coming in from Europe. Let me double check. Yeah, this is his first fight in the UFC. I think a lot of these guys are just going to get worked. John Castaneda and then Nicholas Stolze, both first fights in the UFC. I think the UFC is just giving the favorites someone that they can beat and continue on with their winning streak. So I got Ramazan.
Yeah, I agree. I got Ramazan as well. I think his grappling is going to take over Stolze, and exactly like you said, Stolze's from Germany, and Germany is it's Europe is coming up, but they're not at the same level as if you go to the more east you go or the more west you go. Europe's right in the middle. So if you get over to Russia, then you start getting some really good fighters. If you go over a little bit to Britain, then you'll start seeing some good fighters. But right in the middle of Europe, they're still coming up, and so it's not as competitive a thing. And I just don't like Stolze in this fight against Emiev, who is that Russian, who just had a much harder time coming up. Go ahead.
Yeah, Emiev, he's been in the UFC. He's got like 4 or 5 fights in the UFC. He's 4 fights. He's 3-1. I mean, he's just fought better competition, and you could just see what the UFC is doing. They're trying to get out of Yas Island right now. It's the last fight out there. They're putting on this big card with 15 fights, and they're just bringing in young guys on the regional scene that can just help fill a card and help with these favorites, looking good and continuing on their winning streak. Now, Emiev is coming off a loss, but this is get him back in the win column. So that's why you're seeing a lot of the first few fights where you're seeing a lot of these young guys coming over new into the promotion, pretty much to just get slaughtered.
Yeah, it's kind of swim or drown right now with a lot of these new guys. They're being thrown in on a lot of these Yas Island cards, and you've seen some of them just shine. Like we'll talk about later with Chimaev. And there's other guys that just drown with, and Tanner Boser is another example. But there's also these other guys that have kind of been, they weren't ready for that level of competition yet.
Yeah.
So in the next fight, we have Beth Koheda versus Pani Kianzad. And Beth Koheda is plus 130. Kianzad is minus 150. Who do you have in this fight? Mean Gene?
I got Beth Koheda. she's the underdog in this fight. I gotta pick some underdogs, and this is one where I feel like her experience can get her the win. I do think Kianzad, slightly better fighter, crisper striker. But Beth's long in the tooth. I think she's like 35, 36 years old. So I'm not confident in the pick, to be honest with you. I'm truly picking Beth because of her experience in the competition that she's fought. She's tough. I mean, she's been in there with the best of the best in that division. I mean, she's been in with Rousey. She beat Jessica Ai. She lost to Holly Holm. She had a draw against Renault, and she just recently beat Sajara Eubanks.
Yep.
You already know Eubanks is a beast. Even though she's had a little up and down career, but she's a tough woman and heavy striker. So, anyways, yeah, and Beth was able to last with all of them. And I know she's
So
Sorry, I just heard something weird. I didn't know if that was on your end or on my end. Some with the audio or something. Anyways, but I got Beth. Tougher competition. I think she's going to grit out a split decision victory here. I think the other chick will probably win round one. Beth Cojeda just kind of it's legit, and then Beth Cojeda ends up winning round 2 and 3 and ends up getting getting the decision victory.
Yeah. Damn, you're going really deep on this.
I know, and I shouldn't be because, to be honest, I didn't do a ton of tape study on some of these first fights, as if you guys can't already tell by my analysis. I sound like a dumbass, to be real with you, on breaking down the first few fights that we have. But I got Beth. Long story short.
I agree. I tend to agree. I got Beth as well. It is a little bit surprising to me that she's plus money. Obviously, like you said, Kianzad has that really good striking, but a lot that I've noticed about these women's divisions are that, like we see it with Holly Holm is a perfect example. They can't beat the best, but they keep knocking off all the contenders, and so it's just like it's Joseph Benavidez in flyweight. He couldn't win the title, but he kept knocking off all these contenders, so that they have to give him the title shots again. But we already know that we've seen that dance play out. So I think it's going to be another case of this with Beth Cojeda. She's gonna be not a warm welcome to Pani when she comes in to fight her. And I think Beth Cojeda wins this fight.
Yeah, I wonder what the odds are on the decision. I'll have to try to find that because Kianzad, she's been like damn near all of her fights are all decisions.
Yeah, we see that a lot more.
So anyways, we can go. I know we're trying to expedite this one, so let's move on to the next fight.
The next fight we have Tanner Boser at -260, who's just coming off of that knockout win over Felipe Lins, and he's fighting Rafael Nunes, and he's at +220. So who do you got in this fight, Gene?
I got Tanner Boser. Only thing that worries me is the quick turnaround. A lot of these fighters that have the quick turnaround, they're fighting within 2-3 weeks. They're not having a lot of success. Drew Dober comes to mind recently. Brian Kelleher. Yep, exactly. A lot of these guys, their turnaround within 2-3 weeks are having good results. But I don't know. We'll see. I just think Boser is a tougher fighter. Pessoa, if he can handle Pessoa's first round, Pessoa likes to just come forward, throw looping punches. If Boser can just withstand that early onslaught, I think he'll grind out a victory. I think it'll go to a decision. I wouldn't be surprised if Boser ends up knocking him out like he did with Felipe Lins in the last fight. I got Boser for sure, and he's been on a nice little run, man. Like if he gets a victory here, he's starting to make a name in that heavyweight division.
Yeah, I agree. I think Boser. I actually tend to lean towards him getting that knockout. I think he's got super heavy hands. He looked phenomenal against Lins. And he's also got that great wrestling as well. So whether it's takedowns or takedown defense. So I really think Tanner Boser is kind of a guy to be reckoned with. He's not like a top prospect like we were talking about with Chimaev. We'll see later.
Mm-hmm.
But I like his little thing. He's a Canadian guy with his teeth missing, the long hair, looks exactly like any enforcer you'll ever see on a hockey team. That's what Tanner Boser looks like. So, and I love his little thing. So his little, I wouldn't call it a gimmick, but just, his look, his personality. I'm a Tanner Boser fan. So, and I think he gets the KO here.
And that'd be, it'd be if he gets a win, it'd be 4 victories and 5. So yeah, he'd be due for some tougher competition. But real quick with the Pessoa, just why I said potentially a decision, because Pessoa is super tough. The guy's got a chin on him.
Yeah.
But if in that first round and maybe early second round before Pessoa, gasses out, I could see. I agree with you. I could see Tanner Boser, knocking him out just because he throws looping punches. He's coming forward. He's reckless, man. Like legitimately, Pessoa is just reckless. He's pretty much running at you, just throwing fists, And it reminds me of, man, what was that? The Simpsons when Lisa starts throwing her arms at Bart, and I forget what she said. She said something like, it was like, don't hit me. I don't know. Yeah. I'm a dumbass, obviously. I can't, but she's just spinning, and she's like, "I'm not doing anything. I'm just, you're walking into my fists or whatever." And
Okay.
I feel like Pessoa is, he's like that type of fighter or whatever. He emulates Lisa Simpson in that sense. He's just going to keep coming forward, throwing. And Boser, the counter's there easily for him. But it's just Pessoa's, he's tough. He's got a tough chin. And so I don't know if he'll be able to knock him out. So that's why I'm saying potentially a decision. But it wouldn't surprise me, though, if he ends up knocking him out. So anyways, I always ramble on. You already fucking know me, man. I'm always rambling on. So let's just
real quick, though, because I do want to say one last thing in terms of why I think it's going to be a knockout. It's very easy to knock people out when they're tired.
Mm-hmm.
That's like when you're fatigued, it's so easy to get rocked. And we see that at heavyweight a lot. And especially with Pessoa, anytime I see a heavyweight that's very aggressive, I tend to think that if they don't finish it early, they might get knocked out late or finish late in general. But when you're facing someone like Boser, I really think he's got power in his hands that lasts for 3 rounds. So I think he's getting this knockout.
Okay.
So moving on, we got Moisar Evloev. And he's at -200 versus Mike Grundy. That's an easy name. plus 170 with him. Who do you have in this fight, Gene?
Man, this is going to be a great fight. Big line, -200. Honestly, the value might be on Mike Grundy in this. Mike Grundy is, top prospect outside of, was a top prospect outside of the UFC. Came into the UFC and beats Narimani. In impressive fashion, beats him with punches in round 2. Both fighters are young and up and coming prospects in the UFC. It's a big fight for both of them for a big step in their career, to move forward, whatever, move into that top 15. But I got Evolov, Evolov and Evloev, whatever. Yeah, man, it's late, man. I'm always saying because we keep
every other episode.
Episode.
It's late here.
Yeah, man, we gotta start doing this earlier because I sound like a dumbass half the time when I'm talking scatterbrain and shit. But I got Evloev. Why do I have him pressure fighter? Again with the V at the end. I know I'm, it's not the same area of Europe, but anyways, pressure fighter, good striking though. That's what I really anticipate in this fight. I think his striking is going to get it done. He's a pressure fighter, a grappler. He's just good in all facets of the game. And Mike Grundy at the same time, really good takedown defense. a good wrestler, good striker. So man, it's literally a coin flip. That's why I'm surprised that line is minus 200. But maybe I would have seen like a 175, 180. But I'm not surprised that Evelev is favored by that much. And I have him winning this fight. I do think that he's going to be able to control the center of the octagon with his with his pressure fighting and his good grappling. But Mike Grundy is no one to sleep on, man. And I would not be surprised if Mike Grundy pulls the upset. This is a really, really good fight, man, on the prelims.
Yeah, so speaking of Mike Grundy pulling that upset, I hesitate to do this because it's an upset. And, everyone knows my record, but I do think Mike Grundy pulls this out. He's got phenomenal jiu-jitsu. He's got a ton of finishes by submission, key locks and arm triangles and guillotines. And a lot of those chokeholds are very dangerous against they're very dangerous to wrestlers. And we know Evelev is a wrestler who likes to grind out the decisions. So I think Grundy, he's more dangerous in this fight, in my opinion. And I understand why he's at plus 170, but personally, I think that line can be a lot closer.
Yeah, and Evelev, I think it was Evelev that said no, it wasn't Evelev. It's a fighter later on in this card. Never mind. Forget about it. All I know is Evelev has been working on his striking though, and I anticipate him winning. So because that Barzola win was a nice victory for him. But
yeah, I think if Evelev wins the fight, it will be on the feet. He has some knockout victories. I just feel like Mike Grundy is going to try to take it to the ground, and Movsar, I believe, is how you pronounce his first name. Movsar Evelev.
Yeah, Movsar. Yeah.
Movsar Evelev. He is I think he's comfortable on the ground, and sometimes that's dangerous when obviously it's not smart for you to be on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, either way, I think Mike Grundy gets it. I think he gets a submission victory in this one. If not, I just think honestly, no, I'm done ranting. I think Mike Grundy wins by submission. We're moving on. Tom Aspinall at minus 220 versus Jake Collier at plus 185. Who do you have in this fight, Mean Gene?
Tom Aspinall. Don't even need to hesitate. Did you throw the odds out there for everyone?
Yeah, I just said minus 220 versus plus 185.
Yeah, it's definitely it should be that that line's spot on, man. Espinali has won 3 in a row. Vicious, knockout power. I mean, the guy has crazy knockout power. Jake Collier, he hasn't fought how long? He hasn't fought since 2017. So almost 4-year layoff, 4-year layoff, almost 3-year layoff because it was November.
Quick math.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's why I'm the betting machine, right? But lame joke. Anyways, he hasn't fought in 3 years, man, or almost 3 years, and he's coming back for this fight. I don't know if it was short notice or what, but I mean, Espinal is gonna starch him. It's simple. It's as simple as that. I think he's gonna knock him out quickly too. So,
yeah, I agree. I think I don't have much to say about this fight. I'll be honest. I don't know most of these fighters. I know Collier is from Cuba, Missouri, that is, and Aspinall, I think, just wins this fight. So. Again, you made a lame joke. I thought I'd make one. Moving on to Nicholas Dalby at minus 240 versus Jesse Ronson at plus 205.
Yeah, Nicholas Dalby, again, looked impressive in his last victory over, who was it? Oliveira. Yeah, it was Oliveira, yep. Who is he? He's won, 4 in a row, all finishes besides that Oliveira one. This is the easy one for me. I don't think Ronson has anything for Dalby at all, and he's coming in again. This is the same situation as the first 2 fights, coming in newcomer in the UFC first fight. I just think they're just feeding him to Nicholas Dalby. Nicholas Dalby, just keep that streak going. So I got Dalby.
Yeah, I got 2 things to say about this fight. Number one, I definitely got Dalby. I think he's a big prospect coming out of Cage Warriors. and they threw him right at Alex Oliveira, who most guys when they're coming in their UFC debut aren't getting Alex Oliveira. Obviously, he's not a top 10 guy, but he's still a hard contest for a debuting fighter. And on the flip side, Ronson is we haven't seen much success from PFL guys in the UFC. They haven't really transferred over very well, especially at the higher weights. At the lighter weights, we've seen a little bit of success, but 170, I don't even know if we've had a transfer at 170, so I couldn't look at that specifically, but I just feel like Nicholas Dalby is the prospect. This is almost this is a step down. It's not even almost. It is a step down in competition for him.
100%.
I think he for sure makes a statement with this being a step down. But this is a huge opportunity for Ronson. I just don't think there's a chance he does it. I really don't think he does it.
And neither do I. I'm surprised at the UFC. I'd like to understand. I wish there was an explanation as to why they're giving him Ronson. I mean, after being Oliveira, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, Oliveira is like legitimately, one of the UFC's top welterweights in the sense of like top 25 welterweights or whatever. I'm just surprised that they're giving Ronson a newbie coming in, but I'm sure it's just we're just trying to get as many fights as we can get. Huh?
Real quick, he was supposed to fight Danny Roberts. That's why that happened.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Danny Roberts makes sense as a matchup. Okay. Now I understand. I didn't realize it was a short fight notice for Ronson.
Yeah, the reason I even looked is because I saw that Ronson is a lightweight. So I'm like, why is he fighting at 170? Is he making his debut or is this a short notice thing? And then I realized, okay, Nicholas Dalby, because that's a red flag for me as well. Nicholas Dalby fighting a no-name after he already has that win on Oliveira, he should be fighting up. Yeah. But I agree. It's just this would be this again. I know you said this. I think Noah's last fight, but I would almost go higher with these odds if I'm the odds makers, but you never know.
Yeah.
It's fighting. So in the next fight, we got Francisco Trinaldo versus Jai. It's Jai, right? Jai
Herbert.
Yeah, plus 111. And Trinaldo is minus 131.
Jai. Yes. This is 8 through 15. This is where I have some actual legit analysis. Did some more research on this part of the card all the way to the top. So yeah, I can start. I mean, here we go. I have Francisco Trinaldo. I'm surprised that the line has been dropping. Francisco Trinaldo, I know he's over 40. But just very good all around. He is the better fighter in this fight on paper, 100%. Heavier hands, very good grappler, decent submission. And then Herbert is, Herbert's a striker. The guy throws a beautiful right. He throws crisp rights right down the pipe. And if he's going to win, and this is why the line's close. I think Trinaldo being 40 at some point he's going to fall off. People are worried about that. Herbert, he has great striking. He likes to move forward. The only thing, this is the key to the fight for me and why I'm taking Trinaldo, is Herbert is terrible on the ground. Like he's lost numerous times via submission. If Trinaldo's able to dirty this fight up, close the distance, don't allow Herbert to stand on the outside and pick him apart, because that's what Herbert wants to do. Herbert is the better striker. Herbert is going to get in his face, but it's when I say about Trinaldo muddying the waters and it's just not allowing that distance for those clean strikes to land. And I honestly just think Trinaldo's going to end up taking this guy down and just kind of ground and pounding him. I don't know if he's going to get a finish, but that's his path to victory, is the grappling. Just manhandle Herbert. He's stronger than him, bigger than him. He has more power than him as well. And I expect Trinaldo to win. And I'm probably, I might end up sprinkling on it. It's not an official play when we get to the end of this podcast, but Yeah, man, I might end up just betting on Francisco Trinaldo. I don't know why this line is this small. It started off at like minus 180, and now it's dropped to minus 131. So it's I don't know what people know or what's going on here, but I mean, value wise, it's all Trinaldo is the value. He's fought. I know I'm rambling on, but he's fought way better fighters than Herbert. Herbert's one of the top prospects outside of the UFC, but he's just got the striking. He just can't, like I say, he just can't handle submissions and shit. You take him to the ground, he's gonna lose. So I'm going Trinaldo in this fight.
Okay, so I'm actually opposite. I think it's another Cage Warriors guy who the UFC is trying to build up, and Trinaldo is a very tough test to come in. I think they're giving him Trinaldo for a reason. Trinaldo's a vet. He's fought all the big guys. We know he can't make it around the top 10 that much. We've seen him fight the Kevin Lees of the world. He does have that win over Paul Felder, but mainly I think Herbert's going to come in. His only loss is to Rise McGee, who we'll see in the next fight, but he's made a lot of improvements since that fight, and I do think this fight is going to be a war a little bit. I think Trinaldo's going to really try to manhandle him with that wrestling, but man, I think Herbert gets that either he gets that finish on the feet or he pieces him up on the feet and is able to get the decision victory. But I do think this fight probably goes the distance.
Okay. Yeah, that's what's funny too. I'm sitting here saying that his losses are submissions and shit, and he's got one loss to punches.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, maybe you're watching fights and he just gets close, but
yeah. That's why I should have rephrased it. It's just when he's taken down to the ground, he's in trouble. Now he's able to get up, and he ends up knocking people out eventually. But I just think the strength of Trinaldo. That's really what I think. Trinaldo technically, I believe he should have 4 in a row because he got fucked over in that Alex Hernandez. Yeah, he should have had 4 in a row. He got fucked over to Alex Hernandez. That was like one of the worst decisions in recent memory. So he's got Evan Dunham win, Alex Hernandez lost, but it should have been a win. Bobby Green and John McDessie.
Live on the podcast, I poke myself in the
eye. Every podcast is something weird with you.
You know what though? At least I didn't say that Herbert has a bunch of
fucking and that betting preview, and I'm sitting here saying this guy.
Yeah, all right, I'm ready. These fights I did a lot of study on.
Oh man, he's got one loss. It's fucking punches. Oh my goodness, talk about amateur hour. Yeah, no, what I meant is just when it does go to the ground, obviously his opponents are threatening submissions and he seems to have issues with it. But he's able to get up though. He's able to get up and he ends up
I'm check you on that, man. I have no idea, but it sounds like we're trying to recover. You're against the fence right now.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we can move on. But I got Trinaldo, better resume, stronger fighter, and I do think if he gets in on as long as Herbert he doesn't sit on the outside and let Herbert pick him apart, he's gonna end up winning this fight. And I just feel like at those odds, man, it's amazing. 180 down to 130. So, anyways, let's move on. And this next one should be super quick.
Oh, we missed it.
Yeah, well, I saw. I've been watching it.
What did he do? What? So, Sergio, we're watching.
I believe he won a unanimous decision.
Okay, yeah, it was.
We're watching Bellator over here.
Yeah.
Pez versus Bandejas.
Okay. All right. So moving on, we have Khamzat Chimaev at minus 1,400 versus Rice McGee at plus 900. I just want to start out with saying you heard those odds. Yes, you heard them correctly. If McGee pulls off the upset, which he's not going to do, but if he pulls off the upset, this would be the biggest upset in UFC history. So just something to note coming in. But in general, I'll start with this one. Chimaev, we saw him in his last fight, legitimately looks like Khabib. Like if Dustin Poirier was fighting Chimaev, he might have PTSD. So, I mean, this dude is an animal. He takes you down. He grabs your leg. He grabs that hook. He dumps your head on the ground, and then you try to get up from dumping your head. You're taking 4 or 5 punches or elbows. Then you try to get out, but he's got that hook in your leg, and it's a beautiful art of ground and pound and wrestling mixed together. And I really got Chimaev in this fight for sure.
And the striking, I mean, that's the other thing. The guy, he can strike, man. It's crazy. Like, he literally is when you talk about well-rounded and good in all facets of the game. I don't know about the Brazilian jiu-jitsu aspect of it, but my goodness, I mean, the guy is as a wrestler, grappler, striker, he checks all the boxes. So, and he's only getting better, obviously. 7-0, so he's still young. For me, I mean, you already know what I'm gonna say. Chimaev. I mean, it's just no question about Chimaev. I feel like he should dominate this, but I mean, don't be surprised if it's not like, he fought John Phillips in the last fight. I mean, come on, Phillips is just, a heavy puncher, stand up, trying to knock you out one punch type of fight. This guy, Reese McKee, he's truly a top prospect outside of the UFC. Amazing striking, pinpoint striking. I'm not gonna say Conor McGregor, but when it comes to the precision, he's like a Conor McGregor if I had to compare him to someone. He's obviously not Conor McGregor, but just specifically in that one skill set and that one aspect of the skill set, the precision striking, that's Reese McGee. This guy will find your chin. He's pinpoint accurate. I mean, amazing. If you go back and watch him, it's amazing what he can do, his accuracy, and he knocks people out. So this is a fun fight. They're two like legit prospects. And Reese McGee will end up being in the UFC. This is his first fight, but he's arguably like the top prospect outside of the UFC right now, McKee. So I'm interested to just see how Chimaev handles him. He dominates him, man. I mean, Chimaev is already legit, but it would still be impressive to dominate McKee. So even though it's a short note, it's like a week, short notice fight, like a week or whatever it is.
Yeah, so real quick, in terms of McGee, I do think Chimaev, like we mentioned before, he's just phenomenal. And I did want to say one thing. There's certain fighters, and this is why I'm very high on Chimaev right now. There's certain fighters that you have to game plan for, and they don't have to game plan for you. And that happens with Khabib. Obviously, of course, they have to game plan for you a little bit, but Khabib has the same thing. Like, if he's going up against a dangerous striker, he just has to change up his approach to getting you to his same game plan that he was going to do to begin with. And when you have that dominating, those dominating people like John Jones, you always have, how do you beat this guy? Whenever you have your opponents asking that question, you're going to go really far in the sport. And that's why, like I said, I'm really high on this guy. So, and when it comes to Rice McGee, again, I do like that comparison with the precision to Conor McGregor, because this guy is he's another Cage Warriors guy. So, it kind of hits home, not for me, but, for the people in Europe and mainly the UK, Ireland area where
he's from Ireland too, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So, so I don't think he has a chance, but,
Agree. Well,
chance. He has a puncher's
chance, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, but personally, I know you mentioned he's one of the best prospects outside of the UFC. I think Jai Herbert, even though he's lost to McGee earlier on in his career, since then he's put on just a fucking show. So I think Herbert, in my opinion, is a bigger prospect than McGee. But we'll see. I mean, if McGee can pull off this victory, like I said, it would be the biggest upset in UFC history, and that would be knocking off literally one of the top prospects in the UFC.
Yeah, biggest upset. You got to preface that by saying, biggest upset in the sense of the numbers. In the sense of the line, biggest upset.
Oh yeah, that's what I mentioned at the beginning. So yeah. So in the next fight we have Alex Oliveira. Mentioned him earlier in the card against Trinaldo, but we got Alex Cowboy Oliveira at -175 versus Peter Sabata at +150. Who do you got in this fight? Me and Gene.
This is a tough one for me. Alex Oliveira should win. I don't even remember who I took in this. Who did I take? Alex Oliveira. Oliveira. No, I took Sabata, right? Yeah, I took Sabata.
You took Sabata.
Yeah. Alex Oliveira should win. I like Alex Oliveira a lot, man. The only thing that's just frustrating watching him, he always gets himself into trouble. It's like he's winning a fight and he does something stupid, goes to take someone down and then gets guillotined or
Mhm.
whatever it is. It's like, dude, you're winning a fight. Why are you trying to take this guy down? I love the guy. He's a striker. He's a goofball, fun guy to watch. Always entertaining, and he should win. I mean, he should pressure Sabata. I don't think Sabata's got the heart to fight in Oliveira. Oliveira is just tough, gritty, in your face. He's gonna hurt you. Sabata doesn't seem. He seems like he wilts a little bit in his fights. But the reason why I'm taking Sabata though, man, is this guy. The problem with Oliveira is he has no ground game, dude. You saw with Gunnar Nelson. And he was doing decent against Gunnar Nelson, and then he gets himself into trouble, and Gunnar Nelson just starts dominating him on the ground. And I feel like Sabata, man, Sabata's a good submission artist, and that's always open. That's always a path to victory against Oliveira. So yeah, I know I'm going on a limb. Shit, I'm always taking favorites on this card. I'm not mixing up just to mix it up. I like legit feel like some of these underdogs can win, and Sabata is that. If Oliveira wins, I'm not surprised. He should win. It was tough for me to take Sabata, but I don't know. I just feel like, man, Sabata is gonna choke this dude out, like legitimately. Oliveira again is gonna get himself into a predicament that he shouldn't have, and I think Sabata is gonna take advantage of it. And Sabata's been working on striking too a little bit as well. But I anticipate a submission by Sabata.
Yeah, I totally agree. Not much more to add on to what you're saying. You really hammered it down there, Mean Gene. With Alex Oliveira, he should win on the feet. Peter Sabata doesn't seem like the type of guy that really. I'm really just recapping what you're saying. So Sabata, I do agree. I think Sabata grabs a submission. Oliveira is susceptible to that. Am I choppy on your end?
No, just for a second you were. You're good now. You're good now.
Okay, good. Well, see, I just heard it again. So I'm right next to the modem. No shout-outs for who my internet is.
Yeah, that was. Yeah. I think we have the same internet, and my mine's definitely better than yours because it's a higher package. But yeah, the company in general is just fucking trash. Anyways, for internet, internet's trash. We don't have to get into the name of the company.
Yeah. Anyways, Paul Craig in the next fight. I got Peter Sabata. You got Peter Sabata.
Jump in the next fight. Go ahead and give the odds and start the explanation. I got to get more water because I can fucking mumbling. Let me get some water. But keep going.
All right, you're good. Okay, so we got Paul Craig at -135 versus Gazimirad and Antigulov. Of course, Mean Gene leaves here for a second, and I can't even pronounce the name. Gazimirad and Tigulov +115. I got Paul Craig in this fight, and I don't got. This was a one fight on the main card. I didn't really have much to look into. I just feel like Paul Craig. I feel like Paul Craig has the fight. Mean Gene would have a better analysis. I believe he took Paul Craig in this fight.
Yeah, I'm here.
You're back. You're back. Okay, I see you. I see the gold chain blinging in my eyes.
And Antigulov is how you pronounce it too. You said it properly.
Okay, good. Yeah, I got Paul Craig. You know what's funny is I'm sitting here thinking that we'll break down the fourth wall a little bit. So I'm thinking, okay, this fight fucking didn't do my homework. All right, and then here comes Mean Gene. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna pass this to Mean Gene. Well, he analyzes. I'm gonna go look at the record. Okay. Then Mean Gene goes, I need some water. So I'm like, oh, fuck, yeah. So
deer in headlights.
Exactly. So Paul Craig, and don't jump off the bridge with me, but I do know Mean Gene did study the main card a lot more than I did. So jump off the bridge with him, and he has Paul Craig as well. So I'm jumping off the bridge with Mean Gene on this one.
Yeah, I got Paul Craig. I mean, he's a favorite, so it's not really jumping off the bridge.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, Antigulov, man, he gasses, man. Simple as that. It's like the first round, and that's it. If he doesn't get a finish in the first round, it's over with. Paul Craig's gonna wilt him, and just continue to pressure him, grapple him. And Paul Craig's getting better with his striking as well. But Paul Craig's tough, man. And I got Paul Craig, man. I just don't believe in Antigulov. I really don't. I feel like the first round is where he's dangerous, and if he doesn't get out of the first round, Paul Craig's going to take over this fight. And Paul Craig could win the first two, but if it gets into the second, third round, yeah, I mean he's taking over the fight for sure. So I'm going Paul Craig. Yeah, I'm going Paul Craig.
Damn, interesting. Paul Craig's foundation style is kung fu. Interesting. Don't see many of those guys. Either way, we got the karate. His nickname better be the Karate Kid. I mean,
let me just say real quick with the Paul Craig. I anticipate how he's going to get the victory is a submission. I mean, he's
really,
yeah. And Antigulov is just he's going to gas and he's going to give up. He's going to give up. If he goes to the ground, he's going to give up his back, give up an arm. Whatever. So
okay.
Anyways,
let's move on. We got Carla Esparza at plus 150. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. We got Carla Esparza at plus 150 versus Marina Rodriguez at minus 175. Who do you got in this fight, Gene?
I got Marina Rodriguez easily, and I will be betting on her as well. Carla Esparza is definitely game, tough, crafty vet. Has won 3 in a row, looked good in those 3 fights. Obviously a wrestler, a former champion. So it's definitely a step up with Marina Rodriguez. But this is the typical UFC matchmaking that I like to see, and that's just what you see in general. Yeah. And that's a young, rising prospect against a crafty vet. I mean, sometimes it's a vet like Carla Esparza who's won a few in a row. And then sometimes it's just a vet that, whatever, his alternated losses or wins and losses and alternated wins and losses. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I just heard something. Anyways, alternated wins and losses and is pretty much a gatekeeper in the division. So anyways, break this down real quick. Marina Rodriguez, if I could kind of compare her to anyone, I won't compare her to anyone. I anticipate her handling Carla Esparza on the feet. She's an incredible striker, dynamic striker, but she has incredible length and height. Has the length and she has an incredible length and height advantage over Carla Esparza. I think that's where she's going to end up dominating Carla Esparza. Carla Esparza obviously wants to grapple, take her to the ground. I don't think she's going to be able to get in on Marina Rodriguez. I think Marina Rodriguez is going to be able to keep her out on the outside. And if Carla even attempts to come in, I think she's going to punish her. She's going to make her pay with strikes. I talked about this before, wrote this up on something else. We don't have to get into all that stuff. But I've broken down this card in general for a betting preview and I wrote a little article on it. And in that article, I said it reminds me of Joanna Jacek versus Carla Esparza. Same type of fight. Just go back and watch that, and that's pretty much the blueprint for Marina Rodriguez in this fight. And I think that's what is going to happen. That's what's going to happen. It's not like Marina Rodriguez even has to study that fight and do what Joanna Jacek does. That's what she does. That's just her style, and she's gonna make Carla Esparza pay. Anytime she comes in, and I anticipate her. If it's not a decision, I anticipate her. Carla Esparza is succumbing to strikes in this fight. So my pick is Marina Rodriguez. This is one of my favorite bets on the entire card, to be honest with you. I think this is a coming out party. And like Dana had said as well in his little, if you don't know, now you know video, he says that she potentially, if she gets his victory, she could potentially fight for the title next only because of what's going on in that division. Tatiana Suarez has a neck issue. Rose Namajunas broke her nose, so she just got surgery on her nose. Nina Ansaroff is having a kid, and Claudia Gadelha is she's already got a fight booked. So like the only other person is either you have Joanna Young Jacek get the rematch against Weili Zhang,
Yeah.
or Marina Rodriguez might sneak in there, So this is a big fight for Marina, man, and I'm just happy that Carlos Esparza has won 3 in a row, and it's not that other situation that I explained where it's a gatekeeper alternating wins and losses. Like a victory over Carlos Esparza here is big for Marina Rodriguez.
Yeah, I agree. I think, or I almost said Michelle Waterson. That's who Carlos Esparza just beat,
Yeah.
controversially. But either way, I think Carlos Esparza has been through the ropes. She's fought people like Michelle Waterson. She's fought all the top people in her division. She's been tested. We know she can't win a title there. But so that's why, like you mentioned, with the UFC matchmaking, it's a perfect booking for the UFC, where we have we have Esparza going up against the Marina Rodriguez in her kind of coming out party, like you mentioned. A lot of, I don't want to completely piggyback off of what you're saying, but you really, again, you nailed it. Carlos Esparza is the vet. Marina Rodriguez, I don't see any way that Carlos Esparza beats her. I think it's a perfect matchup. Give Marina Rodriguez Carlos Esparza coming off of 3 losses, so that win looks even more or even better having that name on your resume. And yeah, this, like you mentioned, this is a huge fight for her. If this can put her, like you said, that Dana White said, into a title fight, it makes me even more confident that she's going to come in guns a-blazing, ready to beat Esparza.
I'm super excited for this fight, man. It's one of my favorite fights on the entire card.
All right, and the next fight is one of my favorite fights on the entire card. Is Fabricio Werdum at plus 280 versus Alexander Gustafsson at minus 340. Who do you got in this fight, Mean Gene?
Man, I got Werdum, man. And it's tough for me to say, especially after his previous showing against Olenek. He looked absolutely terrible in that fight. Not only just fighting wise, just his body. He looked out of shape. Looked like he had no training. And come to find out, that's exactly what happened. He had no training. With the COVID pandemic, he wasn't able to get any training partners. And also he had issues with his conditioning. And so obviously that's not going to help you when you're going against Olenek, and Olenek looked in shape, and that was like, the best shape I've ever seen Olenek. So it just didn't work out in that fight. It was the perfect storm, and Werdum just looked horrible. But in this fight, I'm not impressed by Alexander Gustafsson in general. His past couple fights, he's just looked uninspiring. Uninspiring, and then he ends up retiring. It's like he was done. He didn't want to do it anymore. And I just felt like, man, he gained some weight and just thought, hey, maybe I'll take a shot at heavyweight. And we've seen this. You pointed this out to me. The last few guys that have just moved up in weight, whether it's middleweights moving up to light heavyweight or light heavyweight moving up to heavyweight. These fighters that just stayed in these divisions for multiple years. They are a middleweight, they are a light heavyweight, and then they end up at the end of their career, or they have big losses where they can't get back to the title. So they're like, fuck it, I'm gonna move up to another division. And they just don't have success. And, we see with OSP moving up to heavyweight, Chris Weidman moving up to light heavyweight, things of that nature. And I look at, at this with Gustafsson, I feel like he's kind of in the same situation. He's moved up to heavyweight just because he can't do anything at light heavyweight. He's done in that division. Now he's like, fuck it. First he retires. So you have to question, is his heart really in it anymore? Is he just fighting to get a paycheck? Mm-hmm. And then he's going against you can say what you want to say about Werdum in his last fight. He's still an amazing grappler and submission artist. And obviously he can strike. He's a competent striker on the feet. So I don't know. I mean, Gustafsson, I could be wrong. I mean, to me, this is a coin flip. And at those odds where you have Gustafsson at minus 300 something and we're Doom at plus like 260, 280, dude, all the value is on we're Doom. Like it's people say it's dog or pass. I feel like you can't even pass on this fight. You have to take Verdum and sprinkle some money on him. And we'll get to our bets at the end, but that's definitely one of my bets. And just in general, because I can pick I could pick Gustafsson and then, sprinkle a little bit on Verdum, but I have faith in Fabricio. I believe him when he said he didn't get the correct training before his last fight. And I think, he's ready to go. I think it seems like he's getting his training in. And I just think he's going to end up grappling against Gustafsson. You've seen Gustafsson terrible on the ground. Gustafsson is not good on the ground. And I think Verdum's going to end up, taking him to the ground and ending up submitting him.
I agree. Yeah, I should stop letting you go first. But I do exactly what all I was going to say is exactly what you pretty much covered at the end was Verdum. What I'll add on is that I think Gustafsson, what we've seen a lot with more specifically the light heavyweights moving up to heavyweight is when it comes to grappling exchanges, they're not used to that much weight on them. So Verdum is really going to weigh down Gustafsson, who's already terrible on the ground, and Verdum is just going to legitimately destroy Alexander Gustafsson on the ground. I truly believe if Gustafsson, I don't know if you mentioned this, but if Gustafsson's boxing can easily piece up Verdum, but Verdum is a good fighter on the feet, assuming he's had good training, assuming he's not just going to look like he did in his last fight where he's getting pieced up by Olenek on the feet. If Verdum gets his fight to the ground, it's over for Gustafsson. That's really all I got to say about it. So
yeah, and I think we both are in agreement that we wouldn't be surprised if Gustafsson ends up winning this fight. I mean,
yeah, we're taking because I'll say as well. I'm definitely throwing a little bit on. I think we have the same exact bet for Verdum on this. I definitely understand, Gustafsson can definitely come out. We're taking a bit of a risk because Gustafsson, he could come and look great at heavyweight, but also the biggest risk we're taking is Fabricio Verdum going to look like how he did in his last fight? If he does, that was a very idiotic bet. But if he looks like the old ex-champion I know he'll never get back to the title, but if he just looks like that gatekeeper, he'll beat Alexander Gustafsson in this fight.
Yeah, agreed. And if he loses the way he lost to Olenek, he might as well just hang it up, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree. Yeah, I don't think Gustafsson gets a ton out of this because of that specifically. If Verdum comes out and he's very game and he looks great and Gustafsson gets a victory, that's the only thing that I can see where Gustafsson's stock really rises in the heavyweight rankings from that. If Verdum comes out and looks like he did against Olenek, I mean, yeah, you get an ex-champion's name under your belt, but
it is for him, yeah.
It doesn't really prove much for us on how Alexander Gustafsson is going to do at heavyweight. So
agreed, and that hey, agreed, and that's going to end up playing a factor. That's going to play a factor in the main event. That exactly what you said is exactly what I'm going to point out when we get to the main event. But go ahead. Next fight.
So in the next fight we have, speaking of vets here, we got the vets. We got Mauricio Shogun Hua at minus 180 against Antonio Rogerio Nogueira Little Nog at plus 155. Who do you got in this price?
Well, I got Shogun. Shogun's 2-0 against Nogueira already. I think he's gonna make it 3-0. He has the better chin out of the two. He's obviously more.
Out of the chins that they both have left.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they both don't really have chins, to be honest with you. But at least I think Shogun hasn't been knocked out since 2014, I believe. So, which is surprising. You would have thought he's been knocked out before, but he has been rocked though, for sure. That's the one thing. He might not have been knocked out, but he's been rocked.
I thought he got knocked out by Anthony Smith. Oh, that was Rashad Evans, I think, who I'm thinking of. No, yeah, he did. He got knocked out by Anthony Smith in 2018.
Okay, yeah. So I had it wrong. So I forgot that because then before that, the last one was in 2014 against St. Peru. Um, but
Pretty
so yeah,
strong. Remember when I had that amateur hour episode?
I know. Fuck, man. I was gonna say what? Yeah, it's fucking terrible on my end. Um, at least I was closer on that one
Yeah.
because it was 2014, but there is one in 2018. So, anyways, I was wrong. But he has the he's the better chin out of the two. He's the more active fighter out of the two. Um, Honestly, I think it's gonna be the grappling. I think he's gonna get Nagaro down to the ground and just ground and pound him out. I'm starting to. I'm not regretting it because based on the numbers, I did a crazy breakdown on just how many decisions both these fighters have gone to. So I'm looking at more of the 1.5. I'm looking at the over 1.5 rounds in this fight, but I would, it's risky as shit. I think it's what minus 120
Yeah.
or something. Is it? It's 120. I just feel more confident based on the numbers. Like it's like 7 of 11 of Hua's fights have gone to the decision. Nagaro like 75% of Shogun's last 8 fights have gone to the decision. Nagaro in general, I think it's 70% of his fights go to the decision. So it's just a lot of decision. So I'm just going to take that angle. It's a better odds at minus 120. So I like over 1.5. But I'm going to be honest, I am nervous about that.
Wait, are you officially make? We'll talk about that in the best.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to officially make it. But I'm just saying if that's one angle. That's one angle I would look at in this fight is the over 1.5, just based on those numbers. If you're just going strictly off the stats and the numbers, it's a good bet, based off of that. But the thing that worries me is, hey, they're both a little chinny, and I could see them knocking each other out. But what adds to that whole, hey, all these numbers show decision, but even beyond that is that they're both old vets plotting. They're slow, so I don't see anyone having any explosion, any explosiveness in this fight. I think they're going to just kind of stand outside. They're going to slug it out. You might see Shogun take him to the ground and kind of just grind it out. I don't see, and they're just slow plotting fighters at this point in their career. So, and that tends to lead to to decisions, which is historically what they tend to go to. So, but anyways, I got Shogun Hua. I felt like I rambled on this.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
We should have a clock and then just.
I know.
No, you're good.
I know we're having fun. I know we're having fun just doing the podcast, but like legitimately, I'm conscious of it. I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. In the moment, I'm going through the shit.
No, but I get it because you want to like cover all ends. So
yeah,
we'll just do the clock insert. Take away. We should do points on time. Once you reach over 30 minutes of talking, then
you just mute me and shit. That's all you guys can mute me.
Oh, we lost Gene there, and then I said, "Oh man, all right. Well, yeah, I got Mauricio Shogun Hua as well. I think he's just been the more active fighter of the two. They both haven't been super active, but Hua hasn't been super inactive per se. And they're very old, but I just think that that Hua he's still there. Like he's coming off of a victory. He's still there. He just can't stay with the big guys or with the top guys anymore. And Nogueira, I mean, his career ended a long time ago. So yeah, that's how I see this fight going. I just got Hua just literally based on activity, and like you said, I think Nogueira, Little Nog is going to be very chinny. In the next fight, we got Robert Whittaker at minus 130 versus Darren Till at plus 110. For me, this is a huge one. I'm very adamant that I think Robert Whittaker wins this fight. I think that minus 130, we'll talk about in the betting, but it's super, like, I love those odds for someone like Robert Whittaker coming into this fight. And just to be more quick about it, because now I can't go ramble right after I made a joke about yours, but go back and watch Uriah Hall versus Robert Whittaker, and you'll see how Robert Whittaker does against counter strikers. I know some of you are going to say, well, What about Adesanya? Adesanya isn't. He's a counter striker, but if you give him the center of the octagon, he's going to take the center of the octagon. Darren Till won't. Darren Till, he's a counter striker, and so was Uriah Hall. And I think honestly, Uriah Hall is more dangerous at middleweight than Darren Till. Uriah Hall has those spinning attacks, and Robert Whittaker was still able to easily subdue all of the offense from Uriah Hall and just beat him up. And you'll see Robert Whittaker come and rush Till. Till's not going to like that. It's going to look a lot like Woodley versus Till. That's how I see this fight going. Who do you got in this fight, Mean Gene?
Yeah, so I have Whittaker as well. I agree with you. And what I agree with you on is the counter striking aspect of Till. Like you said, I mean, he truly is a counter striker. He likes to sit back. I mean, you saw in that Stephen Thompson fight, you saw in the Kevin Gastelum fight. I mean, he's eking out victories over guys. I mean, it's not even eking out. I mean, one of the most ridiculous decisions, and I bet on it and lost money, was Stephen Thompson, and he got robbed because he was fighting in Darren's hometown, in London or whatever, home country, and the judges fucked him, man. Stephen Thompson won that fight, and I just think it's a history of that. If you just look at the fights that Till's in, it's a lot of questionable decisions, questionable victories, and back to what I said I was going to reference in the main event is you got to look at who he fought. He's fought Kevin Gastelum, who lost 3 in a row. Yeah, I keep saying Kelvin Gastelum. And we're sitting here acting like that's some special victory. That was his first fight in the middleweight division. He narrowly won that fight. It was a split decision. Some people had Kelvin Gastelum winning that fight, had him on the scorecards winning. And so it's like, I get it because Darren Till's got, he's big, he's strong. When he does throw, he throws with authority, and he's a good kickboxer, Muay Thai, kicker. And so the skills are there, but he's not as active as he should be. And if you just look again, I keep saying this, just look at his resume and the fights that he's in. It's like either if he loses bad, and if he knockout by Masvidal, submission by Woodley, and then if he wins, they're questionable. Like he didn't win the Stephen Thompson one, but the judges gave it to him, and then same thing with the Kelvin Gastelum. Now I had him being Kelvin Gastelum, but still it was a very close decision win. So enough about him though. So that's what he's doing.
Yeah, real quick before you even move on from him, I did want to say something that to further my point that I forgot to mention when I was talking is that when I told you to look at Uriah Hall versus Robert Whittaker for why he's going to win, look for Darren Till versus Jorge Masvidal, why he's going to lose. He does not do well when people rush him. I mentioned the Tyron Woodley fight. Tyron Woodley doesn't really rush him. Really, the Masvidal fight is really, I misspoke. That's the fight that you should look at, and that's going to look a lot, or this fight's going to look a lot like that one, where Jorge will just go at him. Jorge has good wrestling, but he's also great on the feet. And Till gets kind of flustered when people are throwing multiple different techniques at him with kicks and punches, and still mixing it up with the takedown. So Till is that great Muay Thai guy, but when you add the takedown into that, I think that's where Till's weakness is on the feet, is because he's worried about that takedown. He leaves his head wide open for the overhand right. As soon as you duck down, he drops his hands and click him in the head. That's it. And then we saw that against Masvidal, and I think we'll see that against Whittaker. But go ahead.
Yes.
I did cut you off on your.
Okay. So me jumping now over to Whittaker. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are talking about his loss to Adesanya, and then everything that happened after mentally with them and taking a break. I look at that in a positive light because of what I've seen during fight week. It looks like he is refreshed, refocused, re-energized. Looks like he's all there. He's ready to get in here and get a victory and go back on a run and get his title back. He won't get his title back, but that's the goal. And I think it starts here with Darren Till. I jumped all over this, and we're about to get to it because this is the last fight, so we're going to get into our bets. But I jumped all over this Whittaker line. You're getting a top echelon fighter who's won 9 of 10 fights. His only losses to arguably this guy could go down as one of the greatest in Adesanya. At least the trajectory right now is pointing that way, and just skill wise, I mean, the guy fucking striker. The leg kicks and head kicks that he throws, he pressures. He's a good wrestler. All things I just feel like he does everything better than Till. And Till's, like you said, Till's a counter striker. As long as Whittaker doesn't catch one of those check hooks, counter hooks, he should be fine. He should be able to get in the inside of Till and just land at ease. He's a great boxer. And as long as Till's just going to sit there and stay on the outside and let you pick him apart, because Whittaker's not going to just stay on the outside like a Kelvin Gastelum or even a Stephen Thompson, just let you kick his legs and outpoint him. I mean, Robert Whittaker is going to get after it. And if he has to, he's going to fucking try to take him down. I don't know if he will be able to because Till has really good takedown defense. He's a big, strong fighter. But, I mean, that's an option too, potentially for Robert Whittaker. So I got Robert Whittaker, man. I mean, when I saw this line, I couldn't believe it. I jumped all over it. I would not be surprised if Till wins. He is skilled, and he's got knockout power. Like I said, Robert Whittaker has a propensity for rushing a little bit. You saw that in the Adesanya fight. You saw a little bit in the Romero fight, and he does get caught, but he's got a chin on him. He's tough. Yeah, I mean, that's really the only way I could see Till just, Robert kind of rushing a little bit, not covering up and catching one of those counter rights or counter lefts, just counter hooks in general. And that would be the path to victory for Till. And it can happen. It's MMA, shit happens. But I got fucking Robert Whittaker. I think he's going to, handily beat Darren Till. I think he's going to put on a show and beat him. So,
I think Robert Whittaker is going to be a guy to beat at middleweight. I almost feel bad for him because I just think that Adesanya matchup is a terrible matchup for him because of how crisp Adesanya is at his striking. Where Whittaker's style, they just don't work well. It doesn't work well against Adesanya, who's just able to piece him up, and he's so precise. You mentioned being as precise as Conor McGregor. How about the comparison of being as precise as Adesanya? That's another great accolade to have, or comparison, another great name you'd want to be compared to. But when it comes to Darren Till, I truly think Robert Whittaker is gonna be that guy, like a Holly Holm, like I mentioned earlier. Like this is happening in the strawweight women's division. So we'll see it we'll see that out of Whittaker. I think Whittaker might turn into Joseph Benavidez or that type of thing. I lost my train of thought there. I'm sorry, but
yeah, I wouldn't say Benavidez because he actually held the title.
Yeah. I don't mean it like that.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
I mean, now from this point forward, like he's still gonna knock off contenders. Is my point.
Yeah.
Where it's gonna be almost annoying for the UFC.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah. With all that being said, 15 fights down. All we got left is a betting, but we got to go over our picks real quick just to run through them. For Mean Gene, he picked Nathaniel. Go ahead. Do you want to just you say your picks? Do you know your picks?
Yeah. Yeah, here, let me just pull this up real quick. It'll take 2 seconds. All right, yeah, so I have Nathaniel Wood, Ramazan Amiv, Besh Koheda, Tanner Bozer, Movsar Ivaloev, Tom Espinal, Nicholas Dalby, Francisco Trinaldo, Kamaz, how do you pronounce it?
Chimaev.
Yeah, Chimaev. Peter Sabata, which I'm not, I'm not super confident in that, but I'm taking Sabata. Paul Craig, Marina Rodriguez, very confident in that one. Fabricio Werdum, taking a fly on him. Mauricio Shogun Hua, and then the one I absolutely love is Robert Whittaker.
Yeah, for me, I got Nathaniel Wood, uh, Ramazan Amiev, Beth Kaheda, or Corheda. What's up?
Nothing. Just go ahead. Besh Koheda. Yep.
Yeah, Beth Kaheda, Tanner Boser, Mike Grundy, Tom Aspinall, Nicholas Dalby, Jai Herbert. I keep hearing the static. Is it really staticky on your end?
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
Not static. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I got Jai Herbert, Kamzat Chimaev, Peter Sabata, Paul Craig, Marina Rodriguez, Fabricio Werdum, Mauricio Shogun Hua, and Robert Whittaker. And we are now moving into Mean Gene's favorite section, the betting section.
Yeah, so I got number one, Robert Whittaker, minus 130. I got 2 units on him. I got half a unit on Fabricio Werdum, just a little sprinkle, because who the hell knows what Fabricio is going to show up. But a little sprinkle on that. I got 2 units on Marina Rodriguez at minus one. What is she at? 175?
Yeah, minus 175.
2 on her. I love top 2 bets are the Whittaker and Rodriguez, and then I think that's it. The only other one that's it. But I'll quickly throw a couple that are kind of interesting. Like I said, the Sabata submission, I could see that. The Paul Craig submission as well. I forget which one's plus 170. Either Paul Craig's plus 170 or Sabata's plus 170 for submission. I believe it might be Sabata. But anyways, I could see those 2 submissions. Man, the one I want to put in, I almost want to add this is the Francisco Trinaldo, man. That is like borderline. I strongly lean towards Francisco Trinaldo. I'm probably gonna bet on him myself. I'm not going to put it as an official play in here, though.
Okay.
I should, though. I really do.
If you want to do it, I just have to. I'll have to calculate the bet real quick, which is fine. It's not a big deal at all. But just let me know.
Yeah, and other than that, I mean, that's.
Are you taking them or no?
Man, what do you think?
You're the betting machine, Mean Gene. You tell me.
Yeah, no, I'm going to take them. I don't even know why I'm asking. I'm going to take them. Legitimately, I'm going to take them myself. I'm going to bet on them. So I'll throw them in there. I'll throw them in there too, especially at 131. So I'll do 1.5 units. I almost just want to do 1, but I'll do 1.5 on Francisco Trinaldo.
Always make my math hard. Fuck. Are you still contemplating?
Yeah, take them out. Fucking take them out. Take them out. I don't want them on there.
Why?
I don't want them on there. I'm just gonna stick with Whittaker and Marina Rodriguez. Those are the 2. I'll just say I have a very strong lean towards Trinaldo for anyone that's even listening to this shit, if they are even listening to it.
You're right.
Yeah. So Trinaldo's like, man, that should be my 3rd bet, but I'm not gonna put him on there. But I don't fault you guys for making that bet, because I am probably on fight night, like right before the fight, I will probably take Trinaldo. It's just great value. It really is. And I feel like a fucking pussy not taking him on this podcast right now, but at least
go ahead.
Just at least I'm probably gonna take it in my personal life, or whatever you want to say, when I open up that sports book. The sports book app, I should say.
All right, so that brings you to a total of 4.5 units. We'll go over this again. I am going to have to do the math real quick for the total possible payout, but I'll do that in a second once we do the recap of the bets.
Hey, fuck the payouts. You really want to break that?
Yeah, we do it every episode, so we're gonna.
Where have I been?
Yeah, exactly. He's been pawning out gold chains and making money. But yeah, that's what it is. It's I've been focused too much on how we run this section and not enough on my bets. And me and Gene just been making bets.
It's all about making money, man. That's my focus.
Well, either way, so we pretty much have the same bets, except I have another one that I'm throwing in there. Robert Whittaker, I'm taking 1.3 units. I'm not going all the way with 2 units on that, mainly because I like to make my own math easy, right? If I do 1.3 units, I just get a unit back.
Okay.
And then I'm doing for Fabricio Werdum, I'm throwing half a unit on that, so I would get plus 140 back, or 1.4 units back on that. But the one bet that you did not have that I'm throwing in there is Whittaker versus Till being over 2.5 rounds, and that's minus 286. So I'm throwing 1 unit on that. Did make my math hard in that.
Wait, what is it? Over 4.5 is what? Minus
over 2.5 is minus 286.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So pretty much once they reach a halfway point, I'll collect my money, and brings me to total units bet of 2.8 units and total possible payout of 2.97. And really quickly, because I am going to want on YouTube to throw this up, I'll do the math in my head super quick. Maybe you can help me, Miji. So minus 175 at 2 units would be what? What would the payout be on that? At minus 200 would be 1 unit. So it would be what, 1 point?
Yeah, I'll do it real quick.
1.14.5, I think.
It's 114.
Yeah, so I was right. Okay, 1 point. It's 114.5 though, right?
0.2.
Okay, I was close. Okay, 1.142. And then you had 280 at half.
280 is
Hold on, no, I have this.
1.4.
I have this already. So you had 2.92, and then what was the other one? It was 1.14.
What?
Accurate. So it'd be 5.
Oh, fucking tired of shit. Yeah, it'd be 1 point. What for the word doom is 1.4.
One sec. 6, 2. Okay, so you have a, there we go. All right, your total possible payout. Total units bet for Mean Gene is 4.5 units, and the total possible payout is 5.062 units. So there you go. This is a big one for you. If you win every single bet, you literally just made up for that entire first card.
Yeah.
All right. Other than that, I don't have much else. Do you have anything else, Mean Gene?
Oh man, I'm about to pass out. I am fucking tired, bro. For real.
Well, with that being said, what's up? What are you about to
say? Obviously enjoy the fights. This is a great card. 15 fights. It starts earlier in the afternoon. I think 4 o'clock at our time, or 5 o'clock Eastern. 8 o'clock or 5. Yeah, 5 o'clock Eastern. Anyways, I'm not gonna fucking ramble on. All I'm saying is a great card. I can't wait to see these fights, and then we will attempt to have a reaction podcast either Saturday night, but more likely probably Sunday morning, and then we'll get it out to you guys sometime on Sunday. But anyways, enjoy the fights. Yeah, I'm out of here. What about you?
Yeah, that's it for me. Just got to thank the sponsors. Thank you to Tyrell Brown for making this beautiful artwork behind my head for our logo. To see more artwork from him, go to @CloudCityCartel on Instagram. Again, as always, the link will be in the bio of this podcast or YouTube, whatever you're watching us or listening to us on. If you want to hear more of the music that will play right after I'm done speaking and played before I started speaking, that is from Alex Weisshaar, and you can go follow him at Alohi on SoundCloud. And then we got the Fringe Faction. Go subscribe to them. Great group of guys, funny guys, make funny videos. Subscribe to them. If you're on YouTube right now, just click that over real quick. Thank you to Anchor.fm. They're the platform that we do the audio version of this podcast on. And if you ever need to make a podcast, the easiest way to do it, they release it to all the platforms for you. They give you all the any ad revenue and stuff. They give you advertisers. It's a very easy way to start your own podcast without having to make your own website. And that's it for me. You can, yeah, you'll see our Twitter handles when I do this on YouTube. So you can email us. Email us, please, for fan questions if you're still listening or if you ever listened at all. BPMGMMA@gmail.com.
Or hit us up on Twitter too for questions. But
Yes, exactly. It's the
Point
best.
we'll- yeah, at some point we'll get them.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it.
Either way, I just like to throw it in there every once in a while. Not every episode.
As long as Google's gonna cancel our account soon enough
Should start a hashtag.
for inactivity. Save BP Mean Gene.
Save BPMG's email.
Yeah. Anyways, you can tell how fucking tired at least I am, or we are.
Yeah.
These fucking whack ass jokes, dad jokes. But anyways, on that note, I'm done. So we'll see you guys on Saturday or Sunday with a reaction to the Whittaker till UFC Fight Night card.
Yep, that's it for both of us. Peace.
All right.